So tonight, we're going to do something a little different. We're going to jump back in time to Chicago 1963 and pull apart this really powerful sermon. We're going to look at its structure, its pacing, and how the speaker builds this incredible momentum that all leads to one thing, a call for a miracle, right then and there. And this is it. This one line. This is the exact moment the entire sermon was engineered to arrive at. It's the final destination, the point where the audience is asked to stop just listening and start, well, believe it. Now, just to be clear, our goal here isn't to preach the sermon, it's to understand how it works. We're going to deconstruct it into its 5 main parts, and you'll see how each piece is so carefully designed to build on the one before it, taking the listener on this very specific, very intentional journey. Okay, so first things first. You might think a sermon starts with a Bible verse, right? Nope. This one starts with a masterclass in building a real, personal connection. He has to build trust before he can even think about building his argument. So how does he do it? Well, he starts with just simple gratitude. He thanks people for these small personal gifts, candy, cookies. It makes it all feel so intimate. And then he's quick to say that any money they give isn't for him, it's for missionaries, which right away builds his credibility. He even cracks a little joke about his age and shares some personal regrets. It's all about showing he's one of them, just a regular person. And this is absolutely crucial. He positions himself not as some fancy, educated minister, but as a humble guy. He basically says, look, I'm not a scholar, I don't have a degree, I just have this one simple gift from God. And that makes his message feel so much more direct, so much more authentic. It gets people to lower their guard. So once he's got everyone feeling like they're on the same team, he makes this big pivot. He starts laying down a really specific and honestly pretty complex theological foundation. Before he gets to his main story, he needs everyone in the room to be on the exact same page about the nature of God. He just dives right into one of the biggest, most confusing questions in Christianity, doesn't he? He says, look, most people are mixed up about this. And he argues that you can't really have faith if you don't even know what you're supposed to have faith in. He's essentially clearing the ground so he can build his own framework. So what's his solution to this puzzle? He introduces this idea of the Shekinah glory. He uses this powerful image of a visible physical light, a pillar of fire, as the key to unlock the whole mystery for his audience. It's something you can actually picture in your mind. And here's how he breaks it down. It's not 3 different gods, it's one God in 3 different states or attributes. First, God is like that untouchable pillar of fire. Second, that same pillar of fire came down and lived inside the body of Jesus. And third, after Jesus, that very same Spirit was released into believers. Now, this framework is absolutely essential for what's coming at the end. All right, the theology is set, the foundation is laid. Now he can finally get to the heart of it, the central story. He pivots to this parable from the Gospel of Mark, and this story is going to become the anchor for everything else he says. He paints this really human picture, You can just imagine Jesus completely wiped out after a long day of teaching and healing. He's so tired, he's just passed out on a pillow in the back of the boat. He's not a distant God in this moment. He's an exhausted man. And here's a really important detail he points out. The guys in the boat, they weren't amateurs. They were seasoned fishermen. This sea was their whole life. But this storm hit so hard and so fast that all their skill means nothing. They're completely helpless. So they cry out, and it's just this raw desperation, isn't it? It's almost an accusation, born out of pure terror. They've totally forgotten all the miracles they just saw him perform. All they can think is, we're going to die, and he doesn't even care. And then you get this moment. Just absolute calm authority. Jesus doesn't fight the storm. He just speaks to it. The Creator tells his creation what to do, and it listens. Instantly. This is the miracle. This is the demonstration of divine power that the whole sermon has been building toward. Okay, and this is the turn. This is where the whole sermon really clicks and becomes personal for everyone listening. He takes that ancient storm and connects it directly to the struggles of his congregation, right there in 1963. He masterfully reframes the whole story. See, the storm on the sea isn't just some historical event anymore. It's a metaphor. The violent waves, that's your sickness, your doubt, your fear. The broken oars that can't help, that's when the doctors say there's nothing more they can do. He's making the Bible story their story.
He really spells it out for them here. He says, it's easy to have faith when we hear about other people's miracles, but the second a real crisis, a sickness, hits our own family, our own house, we panic. We forget everything, just like the disciples did in that boat.
And then he adds this other crucial layer. He gives their suffering a purpose. He says their personal storms, their sicknesses, aren't a punishment. They're a test, a trial that God allows to prove their faith. This completely changes the meaning of their pain and sets the stage for the solution he's about to offer. So we've had the personal connection, the deep theology, the story, and the modern-day application, and it has all been leading to this, the grand finale. The speaker shifts from just telling a story about the past to demanding a live demonstration of its power in the present. And bam, the whole narrative comes full circle. The solution for the disciples on that stormy sea is the exact same solution for the people in that auditorium. Remember that theology from the beginning? That the Spirit of Jesus is in the believer? Well, now it's time to activate it. And this is where it gets incredibly bold. I mean, talk about raising the stakes. He's not just talking in vague terms. He's calling people out by name with their specific sicknesses. Mr. Wilcox with cancer, Mrs. Burnett with a hernia, Mr. McGill with asthma. He is putting his entire message to a live, public, and very verifiable test. This is it, the ultimate call to action. It's the dramatic peak. He stops describing Jesus calming the storm, and he tries to do it himself. He directly commands the storms of sickness to stop, just as Jesus commanded the sea. And that's the payoff. That's the whole point. The entire 5-act structure was built to lead every single person in that room to this one singular moment of catharsis, this moment of proof, where an ancient story is supposed to become real right before their eyes. So when you boil it all down, the big takeaway here isn't really about the theology itself. It's about the timeless, undeniable power of narrative. It's a perfect example of how a well-structured story, connected directly to an audience's deepest fears and hopes, can transform an abstract idea into something you can feel, a powerful, personal, and actionable conviction. It really makes you think about how much the stories we tell shape what we believe is possible.